Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being with me today. I asked to meet with you because I want to introduce you to someone who was a horrific, nasty, vicious, worthless human being. That's all the adjectives I can use on public television. This is Carlos Calderon. Carlos is 41 years old. He's married. And guess what he did? He sexually abused a child that he had access to, and he started sexually abusing this child when she was 7 years old. This child has been abused consistently. He admitted, he confessed that he has sexually battered and sexually abused the child and created child pornography with the child. And that when we asked him during his confession, how many times did you do this? And here's his quote, because I don't talk that way. Oh, hell, I don't know. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You sexually abused a child so many times, you don't even know how many? So we look back at his criminal history, and here's what we found out. He's been arrested 6 different times for driving while license suspended or revoked. 6 times. He's been arrested for possession of K2. He's been arrested for violation of probation. Oh, did I mention to you that he's an alien from Mexico? Carlos told us that he was here on an expired work visa from Mexico. We have an ICE warrant that said he is removable from the country. However, other data we've gathered says, well, he's here on a valid work permit, and he was in the process of applying for permanent residency. I don't think this is someone we want in our country, except now that he will probably be here for the rest of his natural life if he's convicted, because these are life felonies that he's committed. So we have this guy in our county jail at taxpayers' cost. Ultimately, our goal is to convict him and send him to prison for the rest of his life for these horrible things that he did to this beautiful little girl. And when you look, he's an alien from another country. I can't tell you how horrible the information was that we received from this child. His confession, do you know what he told us? Are you ready for this? Here's what he told us. It's not my fault. It's hers. She encouraged it. What? She's 7? She's now 12? She encouraged it? You're a 41-year-old man? And you're suggesting that this person, this baby, this child encouraged it? Not his fault. This is a horrible person. This is a horrible person to abuse a child the way that he did. So, even though there's an ICE order that says he is removable from the country, we're not going to let him be removed from this country. We're going to do our very best to send him to the prison system in this country for the rest of his life. Unless, upon conviction, Mexico agrees to incarcerate him in Mexico for the rest of his life, which I don't even know that's possible. Are there any questions?
Do you fear that there may be more victims out there, that he has access to more little girls?
Well, obviously, he's walking around in society. He had access to other children as well. We don't know of any other victims at this point in our investigation. This investigation has just come to our attention, and we just are in the initial stages of the investigation. Obviously, if there are other victims, we want to know about that, but I am beyond mortified at his horrific, abusive, deviant conduct. Yes, sir.
Can you tell us who alerted deputies or PCSO about this?
No, I can't, because to do so would release information that is sensitive. But I can tell you that Carlos confessed, but he blamed the child, and he didn't provide the details that the child provided for us. But at the end of the day, he was in this country committing life felonies, 30-year felonies, making child porn with a baby. This is who we try to protect people from when we do these predator operations. This is the guy, a snapshot, a poster child of the deviant people that walk around in society, make photographs and child pornography of children, put it online. Here's your poster child right here.
We know from the arrest affidavit that this happened to the girl at 7 and at age 11. What inspired her to speak up now?
This occurred from the time she was 7 all the way through the time she was 12 years old. This consistently occurred at different levels of sadistic behavior depending on her age. But the sexual abuse started when she was 7 and continued through 12 years of age. And I have no idea what caused this to come to the attention of the adults who reported it to us, or how much denial there had been in the past. There'll be a lot of investigation to go.
Sheriff, has your detectives been able to interview the wife? Did she express any shock or knowledge of what was going on for all these years?
The wife of this man was totally shocked, was 100% cooperative with us, and couldn't believe that he was capable of such conduct. This man and his wife do have children. I'm not sure how many.
Is his wife's immigration status in question? You know?
I'm not familiar with whether or not she is a citizen of this country or is here from another country. I don't know her status at all.
And I apologize if I missed this in your initial remarks, but you said it was, is it so at this point, is it unclear if he was legally allowed to be here pending that work?
Well, I know this comes as a great shock to you, but the federal government shut down. And we're having trouble getting detailed information. What Carlos tells us is he's here on an expired work visa from Mexico. The data we've been able to obtain is that ICE has issued a warrant saying that he is removable from the country. And then there's other data that said he has a valid work permit and that he was in the process of applying for a permanent residency. Now put all that together and understand that regardless of his status, he's been here in this country sexually abusing a child from 7 years of age to 12 years of age that he had access to by being in this country. And now the taxpayers are going to pay to keep him in prison for the rest of his life if and when he's convicted.
2 questions, Sheriff.
Just two?
For the moment. How old is the victim now? And
12. That's one question. You got one more.
That answers both.
All right.
What did he do for a living, Sheriff?
I don't know what he did for a living. last I heard, he was unemployed, that his wife was working. So his wife's working, she's taking care of the family, gives you time to wander around town and sexually abuse a child.
I can see it in your face.
Oh, there's no words to explain this. There is no words to explain how horrible this is, how horrible this conduct is by this person.
His work visa, do you know where that was for, what company?
I have no idea.
Sheriff, I apologize if you have to repeat this.
I don't mind. I know it's a long way from St. Petersburg.
It's a bit of a drive, I appreciate it. When he was asked how many times he had assaulted this girl, how did he respond?
When we ask him during the interview, during the confession, and he's busy telling us that he did this, but it was her fault. We go, well, just how many times did you inappropriately touch this child? His quote was, oh, hell, I don't know. But what we know is that this sexual abuse of this child started when she was 7, and it continued until she was 12 years of age, and it occurred on a continuous basis between 7 and 12. One more look at him. You ought not to forget the face of a pedophile, of a deviant, of someone who sexually abuses a baby, and then takes photographs to make child porn of the baby.
Is there any indication that that child pornography may have traveled who knows where out of the country?
We've just seized his electronic devices. Quite frankly, he thought it was erased. He was surprised that we found it. But newsflash, we're pretty good at that. And we're so early in the investigation, we can't tell whether or not yet at this point in the investigation whether he's sent it out to the universe. But I mean, it's bad enough and ugly enough and filthy enough to abuse a child like this, and to do it for this many years is times a million. And then to take pornographic child porn pictures of the child that you're sexually abusing, there aren't words to describe that. The adjective I've used is only what you can say publicly. You know, this guy's got a gift of air to breathe. And think what, it's not only the horrific conduct he's already done to the child, but now the child has got to endure that for the rest of her life.
Do we know if he was a coach of any like youth soccer leagues or anything like that?
I have no idea. But if I did, I would have told you. So anyway, there's the story for the day. You know, when you think you've seen all the deviant, worthless people by their horrible conduct toward children, you always find one more. And here's one more. And my word is, if there's someone out there hiding another person that would do something like that, don't hide them anymore. Say something. Call Crime Stoppers. If you think your child might have been victimized by him, and we have no other information that he's victimized another child, but if you've ever lived next door, across the street, you know him, figure out whether or not he's had access to your children as well.
Sheriff, you said you hope he's not deported?
Well, he can't be deported, and certain now he can't be deported because we've got him locked up on life felonies, and our goal is to see that he goes to prison for the rest of his life. Therefore, the taxpayers of the state of Florida will have to pay for him for the rest of his life because we want that rascal locked up. There's no way in the world that we would ever agree to any kind of a plea that would allow him to get out, whether he agreed to leave the country or not. This guy needs to be in prison for the rest of his life. That means we pay for him. He doesn't need to be worried about being deported by ICE. That's last of his concern right now. Because if we convict him, and he certainly has the right to a trial, a jury trial, and we're glad to give it to him. But our goal is, if he wants that, we'll give him that, and we'll do our best to convict him. Okay? Thank you very much. Have a good evening.